All right, good morning, everyone. What is today? September 24th. It's one day before my mom's birthday. Yay. This is Truth Bomb.
Awesome.
This is Jay Scott, Crypto Cowboy.
Hey, Sandy, Freedom Faith Warrior.
And we're ready for some Truth Bomb. Are you?
Mm.
Yeah. So, did you have a good weekend?
Yeah, I did. Well, I mean, as good
You're
as it can be
packing.
when you're packing stuff. Hence, there's, it's almost to the ceiling over here.
Yeah,
Um, that's
not
pretty
my favorite
bad when you
job.
run out of.
Packing, moving.
It's horrible. It's horrible. Hold on, I'm trying to share our
Go
stream.
ahead. Oh, that's right.
Sharing our
My weekend
stream.
was good. Both my football teams won again. My college team, the mighty Grizzlies, and of course, the
Ooh,
mighty Kansas City Chiefs. And
Kansas City
I
Chiefs.
think that, let's see. Well, Kansas City's 3-0. I think the Grizzlies lost one, but I went down to Missoula. It's about 2.5 hour little drive. Met my son down
Missoula.
there. We went and watched the
Yeah.
game. It was so a lot of fun. Got sunburned.
How
Like the
cool.
whole left side of my face was just fried because it was really sunny and it was, yeah, the sun, yeah. So the whole left
I
side.
love live. I love going to a game live. It just makes it so much better. Just the whole atmosphere. Everybody
Oh,
comes together. They're unified.
it was so fun.
Unified.
We had really good seats, pretty darn close to the field, like right about the 45. And I had been a while since I'd been to a college game that I was that close, and the crowd was electric, and it
Oh,
was so much fun. Yeah. So,
it's electric.
anyways,
Do, do,
it was electrified.
do, 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 do.
So, speaking of electrified, we've got we've got a lot of things coming up with the election, and I found this
Ooh,
interesting little article that summarized all the things that are coming up in the next, well, before the end of the year,
yeah.
even beyond the election, which I thought was interesting. We'll kind of go over that, and
Cool.
and then
Um, is anybody talking about anything else
yeah, I
these
mean,
days? I mean,
nope,
ugh,
nope. I'm so
no.
glad. For the most part, I don't watch commercials, but if I watch football, the commercials come on. But most of the other stuff, I don't have to watch commercials. But
Right.
it's just,
So,
it's annoying.
mugs up. Do you have a mug
Mug
today?
it up, mug
Scott?
it up. It's funny because
Mugs.
I
Mug it
always
up.
have my Yetis, but it works as a good mug.
hmm I'm a old fashioned. I gotta have a mug. I don't know.
A
It's just something
mug.
about the ceramic, not the steel. I don't know. What are y'all's opinion on that? If you join us, say
Say
hello,
hello,
and
hello.
we will interact. And I'm looking at your comments. So I know that we're going to talk about voter stuff, but I'm
Voter
interested to
stuff.
hear what perspective you're going to bring to that.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
have a perspective too.
we're gonna talk about cool stuff. We're gonna talk about health too. Let's go to the health stuff first. Um,
Health stuff first.
let's do health
Hold
first.
on. Hold on. Let me drink down my sugar. Hold on.
Have some sugar because this is all about glucose. Oop, we didn't do that. Sugar first. Let's see.
I'm drinking the sugar right now.
There we go. Wait, why is it doing that? Why am I not showing the right screen? Come on, what's
I
going
don't know. That
on?
looks
What's
like a
going on?
maze.
I guess
Is
we're
that is
going.
that is that a sugar maze?
It wants to. Well, no, it wanted to go to. It wanted to do politics first.
Oh,
There we go.
it's
I don't know why. I don't want. My system wanted to do politics. Ugh. Okay, no. These are the 10 hacks from the Glucose Goddess. Have you ever heard of the Glucose Goddess?
I have not.
Gosh, I can't even pronounce her name. French. Speaks really good English, though. Jessie something, something or another. And she's got this great. Yeah, it's just crazy,
Okay.
crazy
Wow.
French
Okay.
name, but they just call her. She calls herself the Glucose Goddess, and she's I think she's a biochemist, and she has a really cool YouTube channel. and she just talks about all these really cool glucose hacks and how what glucose does to your body. And I have been really
Right.
focusing on that myself in my life, and I thought these were pretty cool. We'll see what you guys think. Let me know if you think these are stupid or if you can do them. And we'll start with you, Sandy, what you think. But the first thing to do
Okay.
is eat a savory breakfast. So, according to the Glucose Goddess, the worst thing you can do is eat anything sweet for for breakfast.
Yeah.
And
Agreed.
yeah, and we're so conditioned to eat
Agreed.
cereal and oatmeal
Well,
and
yeah.
orange
Yeah.
juice.
They marketed us well, didn't they? The
Oh
cereal
yeah.
gods.
Oh yeah. Oh, I used to love cereal. Oh my god! In fact, I just bought some of that. Oh god, it's like grainless. It's a grainless cereal, Magic Spoon. That's what it's called, and it's crazy stuff. I don't even know what it's made out of, but it's got
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of sweetness to it. It's got no grains in it, but it still has. One thing I found on this keto diet is everything that you would think is carbs that I stay away from. There's still carbs in so many things, and
Absolutely.
it's hard to.
Cereal's insane.
Yeah, cereal's
I
insane.
I'm a fan of oatmeal, though there are some studies out right now about oatmeal also not being that great for you. But
Well,
for
that's
me,
because
oatmeal,
it's a carb, but yeah.
but our oatmeal is pretty, it sticks with you. Like it's one of those breakfasts that's you can eat it pretty quickly and it
Well,
makes you feel full.
it's got a lot of fiber in it, right? And so a fiber makes you feel full, and so that's why they market it that way too. It's like I remember the commercials where the kids are going out to play in the snow and they need to eat their oatmeal or cream of wheat or something like that to go out and
Mhm.
play in the snow all day long. But what
Yeah.
she's really focusing on is glucose spikes. So when you eat something, your glucose will spike up, and if you have a lot of spikes during the day, and if the spikes go higher when you eat, then that's not good for you. That starts to cause all sorts of metabolic syndrome issues
Mhm.
with this. So what these 10 hacks try to do is to reduce your glucose spikes, basically. So I just want to clear that up. So here's another bizarre one. I haven't tried this yet, but have vinegar, eat or have a teaspoon of
Yeah,
vinegar.
that's a
Or
hack.
no, actually, she says take a teaspoon of vinegar before a meal and dilute it with water. So don't just swig it, but dilute it with water. And what this does is it reduces the glucose uh, reaction in your system after you eat food, probably
Well,
due
what's
to
really
the
interesting
acidity or
about
something.
that is you would think that vinegar would give you heartburn, when in actuality, like apple cider vinegar, if you
Yeah,
take a teaspoon of that, it does help people with reflux.
yeah, isn't that
So it
weird?
actually is an opposite effect, which going down, it doesn't feel like it would be that way, but
Right. And in this case, she
it,
suggests
mhm.
definitely uh, dilute it with water and just drink a glass of water with one. I believe it might be teaspoon or tablespoon. Can't remember,
Tablespoon, it says
but
tablespoon.
tablespoon right in there. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay. Here's one that I really started trying first, and it's really hard for me because I don't love vegetables. I don't eat a lot of vegetables, but I've really been trying this. So this is interesting. You'll recognize this that most cultures start with some sort of veggie in their meal, uh, and it has to do with just sort of passed down that people feel better when you have this fiber that comes into your body first. It sits in your stomach and kind of creates what she calls this little fibery kind of basket that then the other foods, when you eat them, kind of sit in this, and it slows down the absorption of the glucose. And so it it helps again to bounce back and not have that glucose spike. So, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I think that that's right. I think vegetables. A lot of people don't eat vegetables. It's amazing how many people, when I was a health educator, do not did not know what a natural vegetable was. Like they didn't eat it. They thought it was too. I don't. It
What do you
wasn't going
think
to
a French
taste good.
fry was vegetable? They think French fries were
Yes.
vegetables? Yeah,
Yes,
I see.
they did, and they would only eat certain ones, and most people will eat your things that are recognizable, carrots, potatoes, like you said, but they won't stray off into other avenues
Into
because of
green
their
green stuff.
right, because their diet intake as children, they had parents that did the one pot meals,
Mm,
the roast with the potatoes and the carrots and the onions, and that's it. There's your vegetables.
yeah.
So broccoli or anything or Brussels sprouts or anything like that, was an oddity. And so it really takes a lot for you to start liking vegetables. And
Yeah, I don't
so
like them. I don't like them.
my
I
tip is to get it colorful, do a colorful spread so that you're just trying different things. Like I know people are funny about bell peppers, but bell peppers are a great snack. And the red and the orange ones and the yellow ones taste different than the green ones.
really.
So if you don't like green ones, you may like those cuz they're just a little bit sweeter
Yeah.
and they're good for you.
And they have
So,
a ton of
I mean,
vitamin C in
yeah.
them, I guess, right?
Yes, they do, and you just have to try it. Like, that's the big thing, like,
Or find
just try
something
it.
to do, with them. One of the things that the uh, now I can't remember if it's the Glucose Goddess or this Dr. Boz that I'm following the keto diet for, but she says that, well, especially for the keto diet, that vegetables are a really good way to carry the fat. So basically, in this diet, so if you're not on the keto diet, don't mess around with this. But with keto diet, you have to eat a lot of fat. So you put a lot of butter, a lot of oils, good oils, olive oil and so on the veggies, and then that deposits that fat in there. Plus, you get the fiber, which for me has been really good because in this particular keto diet, you don't have to like pound down a ton of vegetables. You just need to have some, and frankly, if you get fiber another way, and if you get the fat in there, it's good for that. But the Glucose Goddess,
Right.
what I like about her is it's a very well-rounded sort of focus that she's like, you can have sweets and sugars, but you just have to make sure you do them in the right order. And I think that's another one of these. She'll talk about food order, but never eat sweet stuff first. And in fact,
Right.
this veggie thing was important. So I've been trying that, which is really weird because usually I eat, if I have a vegetable, maybe a salad, I might have a little bit before the
Right.
dinner. But other than that,
Mhm.
I would always have the veggies, with or after. So now I'm wolfing down the veggies first, and it's weird because I'm like, well, I want to get to that yummy shrimp or protein, but I got to finish this vegetable. But it is good for it, and I do feel better afterwards. So here's another one: move after. Switch over. Move after eating, and I think a lot of people have heard this one. I don't know.
Absolutely.
But don't chow down and then lay down for certainly, or sit down necessarily and watch TV. But I'm guilty of this probably as a single dude. I'm probably watching the game or watching something as I'm eating, and then I'm just sitting there watching it. So I do have to just get up, and I don't think it's a big deal. You can just
Yeah.
get up, walk around, do some
Well, I
push-ups,
mean,
even just move.
I know back in the 80s, 90s, everybody would have dinner and then go for a walk. So, I mean, that theory's been around for a
Right.
long time, you know, for dinner. Because, when you're stressed out at work and you come home, you want to relax. You just want to,
Hmm.
kick your shoes off. And, if somebody else is preparing a meal for you, great. If you're preparing your own meal, you know, having it pre-made is priceless. Like, that's why I think having a day where you pre-make your meals for the week helps you to stay on track on any diet, no matter what it is, because that means you're not going to reach for the wrong things. So what you want to
Yeah.
do is you want to pre-make the meals on a Sunday. Do okay, I'm going to eat this week, and pre-plan those meals because you don't know how you're going to feel when you get home from work. So the
Yeah.
best thing for you to do is to go, okay, I'm going to stay on my plan because I'm going to reach in there and get something that I already made and it's
Yeah.
sitting there ready for me. So it's just one of those tips as a health educator that I was that was so important. That's why people were more successful on already made entrees and already made pre-made shakes and all that stuff. If it takes you 5 minutes and less, you're more you're gonna stick to it. It's easier for you. So that's just a tip.
Yeah.
Anyway,
All right. Next one is pair sugary foods with proteins and fats. I feel like this is kind of, again, kind
yes,
of
same thing.
basic. A lot of people kind of get that one. Okay, so here's the big one though. Have sweet foods and desserts. Excuse me. Have sweet foods as
Yes.
dessert. So this seems
Right.
sort of obvious, but she really talks big about this. It's like always think of anything sweet as dessert, meaning dessert comes after dinner. You know, so that if you think of that, then yeah, you'll especially for breakfast. If you, she's like, even for breakfast, if you're gonna have anything sweet, then make sure it's after your meal. And I think
Right.
that's really counterintuitive for a lot of people. And but just try it, see what you think. And again, we're trying to reduce the spike, how tall the spike is, and how often we have spikes. And you know, check out her channel because she does it. It's a fun channel. She has this funky. She dresses funky. She has this cool funky set. You know, it's not a boring YouTube video. And she talks about
We're
all this
trying
stuff.
not to
It's
be
good.
boring. We're trying. We're trying. We're not dancing or anything.
We're just two little heads here talking, but we're trying not to be
Like,
boring.
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. All right. Here's another one. Avoid drinking sweet beverages on an empty stomach. I'd never really heard of this one before. I don't know, but again, there's nothing to absorb the sugar from spiking into your system, and that's
Right.
something that she really
Right.
pounds home, and I really got that, and I never thought about it before. Really, is make sure that sugary things, or even carbohydrates, which basically are sugars, they break down into sugar, have something to absorb into, because when they hit an empty stomach, they go right into the bloodstream. And the key to slowing down the spikes is to slow down how the sugar is absorbed, and then how sugar or glucose and insulin work together. And you've got to slow it down. That's why fibery foods are good with this, because fiber slows down the absorption of all the foods.
Right.
Next one is another one we talk about. Stay hydrated, not with sugary drinks. So here's a question I have though. What about iced tea that has caffeine in it? So I drink black tea. So I have my coffee in the morning, and then I'll have a big old iced tea throughout the rest of the day. So no sugar, no nothing in it. It's water, but it does have caffeine in it, which they say is a diuretic, which always pisses me off because it's not fair. It's like I'm drinking liquid, but I guess I pee it out, and that's not so good.
That's why it's pissing you off. Anyway. Sorry.
Good one. Good one.
Sorry. Anyway, yes, tea is a diuretic. It is true. So coffee counts in your water intake, but tea doesn't because
Wait,
it's a diuretic. Yes.
why isn't coffee a diuretic? I thought it was.
Because no, no.
Oh my God, that's
Coffee is counted in your water intake.
well. Then I'll
Tea,
just drink
however,
10
is
cups of
not.
coffee a day. Does that work?
No, don't do that either. Because
Okay.
of the acid level. So
Oh,
that's
okay,
the
yeah.
bad part about coffee is that it has an acidity level. And like me, my son makes fun of my coffee because it's a creamy looking because I put cream in it.
What's he make fun of it about?
Because he thinks that I should drink it black, I guess.
Oh,
So
like a man,
I'm like,
be a man, drink
no.
it black.
no.
Yeah.
So anyway, he goes, "You sweeten it," da, 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 da," which is true. I was doing the zero sugar creamers for a little while because I thought, well, I'm going to save on the sugar because I didn't want it to be the first thing because I use stevia to sweeten my stuff.
Yeah, me too.
And the problem with the zero sugar, what is it?
Probably
If you look
fat.
at the ingredients on the label, as much as you looked at the other one, you'll see there's twice as many ingredients, which means there's many more chemicals in it.
Right.
So, are you doing
Chemicals.
better not having the sugar, or are you doing better without all of those chemicals? Now that's just up to you, but my choice was, yeah, I'm going to stop
Yeah.
the chemicals because I'm allergic to Splenda.
Oh wow.
And most of the time, and Splenda is sucralose. So if I see anything on the label that says sucralose, I do not have it. And I don't know if she discusses this as a insulin spike, but even fake sweeteners
Yeah.
can affect your insulin spikes because it you think you're getting sugar, you're not getting sugar, obviously, because it's, a lot
Well,
of it
you're not
is
getting
fake.
technically sugar, right? But a lot of
Right.
them, nowadays, I wouldn't be surprised if there's 100 variations of what is sort of a sweetener now. I mean, there's so many variations with
Oh
the
yeah,
way the
you have to look at the
chemicals.
xylitol.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
ethanol, xylitol,
yes,
maltol,
yes,
um,
yes, and
and
that is
really most of them are
chemicals.
they're no good for you. They're just
Those aren't
chemical
good. They're
derivatives
not good.
of this
Right.
sugar molecule or whatever.
So you
Now,
have to go, can I deal with 2 teaspoons of sugar in my coffee a day, or do I want to put all these other chemicals in my body? I mean, that's up to you. You're saving on the sugar, but I'm not an overly sugary person. Every once in a while I'll have a craving for it, but like I could never be one that could wake up and eat a donut because it would make me sick to my stomach.
right.
And
Yeah,
so,
back in the days I could, and then it would make me sick. One thing I noticed before I started really focusing on this and learning about it, I just did notice that when I ate pancakes or anything sort of heavy like that, French toast,
yeah,
whatever, which I loved, I just didn't feel good. I didn't feel good
yeah.
for the rest of the day. And then if I ate
The
just like
diet,
eggs
right.
or an omelet,
You
I
set
felt
the
better.
tone. You set the tone at that first meal. You set the tone on what you're going to eat the rest of the day. If you start out with something
Yeah,
sugary, guess what you're going to be craving all day? Something
yeah,
sugary.
and
So
your energy
that is,
levels. Yeah.
mhm.
And so there's a lot of science behind this now. And, the Glucose Goddess, and there's lots of places you can find information about it. They make it more accessible and
Absolutely.
fun to learn because, yeah, I didn't realize all this, but my body was telling me and
Well,
it
this
knew.
is why we're talking about this on the Truth Bomb show. Is everything is a truth bomb. Like how you treat your body, your mind, your soul is important. And if you're letting somebody else take control over all of those things, then your life is going to be chaotic. Just saying.
And that
You're
somebody could be advertising TV commercials, radio
yeah.
commercials, highly influential in most of
If
our
I
lives.
hear about Ozempic and Wegovy one more time, I'm
Yeah.
just saying. I've been watching TV. I like a certain broadcast channel that I watch, I call it, thoughtless TV.
Yeah.
I don't have to think. I just
I call it
listen
like,
and I'm like, what in
yeah,
the world?
just
You know?
sugary brain,
Hmm.
feel good for,
But
an hour.
they are pushing these weight loss drugs like crazy. Like the pharmaceutical companies have went insane with it right now.
Oh,
And
it's
it's
just
like,
so much money.
don't
Oh,
you
there's so much money.
know that people, okay, so there's this thing right now, and I didn't mean to go political on this, but I guess I'm going there. There's this thing called Ozempic face. Like if you're taking Ozempic, your face is getting long and drawn out.
Hmm.
Now, what I have heard from friends, some who have taken it, some who haven't, the ones that are actually diabetic do better on this medication because it's made for diabetics.
Right.
Okay. The ones that are taking it that are not diabetics are having a harder time. And it is affecting their bodies differently. So you all have to look at that. Like, and here's the question. Okay. Now that we're talking about sugar and we're talking about our health, you have to decide at some point when enough is enough. Like I was, and I'm just going to be transparent here. I was addicted to diet pills for a long time. What I started as a teenager, Dexatrim.
Mm.
Then,
Yeah.
went into other things that were over the counter. Those Dexatrims, man, they were strong. If you wanted a real speeder,
Yeah. Back in the
go buy
days, yeah,
a
you could.
Dexatrim. Right?
Yeah,
It
you
was
could
on
get
over the
speed.
counter.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, and then there were Vivarins. So I would take both. I would do Dexatrim and Vivarin, and just to not eat because I thought that my weight problem was from eating.
Right.
when in fact I have had a condition this whole time that I didn't know about. And so what I'm saying is like, what matters to you? Does it really matter what you look like in those clothes and what you're going to wear as compared to how you feel? Like 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 your health is really metered on how you feel about yourself in your own body, and how your body feels when it's exercising and all of those things. That's what should matter to you more than the vain, fashion, whatever. How do I look like this? Now, I'm saying this and I'm not judging you if you do, because I'm a girl that has, you know, clothing that, I like fashion. I like all those things. But you have to come down to, in your own head, why does it matter to you? What is the root cause of you being unhappy about it? Is it because of the way you feel every day when you wake up? Or is it because you're trying to impress other people and how you look in your clothing? Like, you really have to gauge where you're at in your head on that. And
And
it
it
could be
really,
both.
well, yeah, it could be both. And I was going to say, and it doesn't have to be extreme necessarily. It's just to be aware of it. Because like you said, like you're kind of a girly girl. You like that. But you also, so you like the way you feel or look when you wear interesting fashionable clothes and put on a little makeup or whatever. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? As long as you sort of aware of it and it's not taking you over, and that sometimes
Right.
you don't put any makeup on, you don't do whatever, and you still might get on camera or do
Right.
whatever. Maybe you might prefer to do it one way or the other,
Right.
but don't just make it so rigid that it takes over your life. And I think
Right.
that one of the things I think about going around the sun a few more times, that I've been around, I really had to learn that because I was really swept up in whatever society was talking about in TV commercials or whatever. And it's all subconscious. Not like I walked around and said, oh, that commercial, I'm going to do that.
Right.
It just seeps into you and it takes over. Health, if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. And until you have
Right.
a serious health crisis,
Right.
until my first serious health crisis, which by the way didn't hit me until I was about 40. And so I had no clue. And when it took me out of life, like life was, it's not that I was about almost to die. I just literally couldn't hardly walk and do anything. And so it was
Wow.
like, like without that health, business, family, money, none of it matters. But I'll tell you what, it's a hard lesson to learn until you face it. And it's
Right.
hard. I think it's hard to just hear it and do it. Just be aware of it and know that we're all going to face something pretty serious in our health at some point.
That's right.
And just know that, like, oh, yeah, that was what they were talking about. My
Yeah,
health,
yeah, because
is
you
everything.
know, I had a family member who kind of all their life kind of criticized themselves over their weight, And I remember thinking, as they were passing, um, that they really didn't care about that right now. Like, that's
Yeah.
not what they cared about. So you have to know, where the priority is. Like, they didn't care about that at the moment, you know. They cared about other things, and it was about family, and it was about relationship and
Yeah.
communication. It wasn't about that anymore. So you have to have you sometimes you have to have that wake up call, I guess. But what's saddening my heart is to see all these people that are going on these medications, and then coming off of them and gaining the weight back, and plus
Yeah.
some, you know, uh, using a medication and going, I feel great because I look great because I lost weight, but then can't maintain it or sustain it at the same level, and be so critical, and be worse for the wear afterwards. Like
Yeah.
like I have seen this, and I've done it myself. I mean, it's in my own life. I mean, I've been up, I've been down, I've been up and I've been down, and I finally had to come to that realization that I am who I am. And you either like me the way I am or not. That's up to you, but I like me and I don't care. like like you have to get to that place. Like, okay, do I want to lose weight and go to the gym and be stronger? Yes. So do I think it's important? Absolutely. But why do I want to do that? So that I can live longer and I can have a better, uh, I can have better health. Has
Well, just feel
nothing to
better. I'll tell
do
you
with
what.
the other thing. Yeah.
Just feeling good. Like I've gone through a lot, many years of just not feeling good, stomach or whatever, joints, whatever, and I just don't do as much stuff, because I don't feel good, and it's really sad. And now as I'm kind of coming out the other side and I've got more energy and I'm feeling better, I'm able to do more, and I'm like, man, it just how did I let it get like
So,
that? How did I
so
let it get like that?
a key to this is you need to pick which thing you're going to focus on first, either
Yeah.
your diet or your exercise. When you do it together, which you have to do it together slowly. Like, so if you're going to go on a calorie deficit diet, you need to be careful not to try to go work out and go crazy with that, because you'll make yourself fail.
Right.
You're not going to be able to maintain the
That's a good point.
calories along with that exercise. So the key is to burn 150 calories a day, which is like a 30-minute walk.
Okay. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
A day.
That's about right.
So for the whole week, you'll be surprised. If you start a diet, you should start it like slowly, like that. So that's just my key to you, my tip to you, so that you don't get burnt out right away. Do them together. You should, because you should start trying to get some stamina and exercise. And I'm just talking about walking. But if you say you have mobility issues and you can't walk, swimming is the second best thing to do. You can do chair, like you can kind of do
Chair
some
yoga?
chair. Yeah, you can do chair
Or
things. You can
chair
actually
stretches.
you can actually use vegetable cans as your weights. You don't have to go out
Oh.
and purchase a bunch of weights. Use some vegetable cans. Just start slowly, but do
Yeah.
something that's going to make you feel good, make
Yeah.
you feel better.
All right, let's whip through this last couple here, and then we'll
All
get
right,
to
there we
the crazy politics. Prioritize fiber-rich foods. Okay, that's interesting. I think, again, we talked about fiber absorbs the glucose, and then snack on savory foods. So if you're going to snack, make it savory. This is really my big deal here is I snack on like beef jerky and cheese and anything that's not
Yeah,
sweet.
I like nuts.
Nuts, yeah, I do have a lot of nuts.
Almonds,
Yep,
that kind of
nuts are big. So, anyways, all right. So that's just that was fun. I knew you'd have a lot to talk about that. Yeah, let me switch over here. Okay, I think I've got to
switch
go.
in. If you
to-
join, say hello. I saw we had a couple people on there for a minute. They didn't say hello, so they should.
Yeah, say hello. It's not
Say
right.
hello.
Come here, and not say hello. All right, we're switching over big time here, but we don't have to get too crazy. But this is interesting. So this is a funny little chart here that shows what's going to be happening. So early voting began on September 20th for, I don't know if every state does this, but
No,
there
I
you
don't
go.
think everyone did. I know North Carolina was one of them, I think.
Yeah. October 1st is going to be the VP debate. I won't be tuning in because I don't like debates. Just don't do it. But there you go. And then Election Day, November 5th. I mean, that's just not very far. But then what's interesting is all these things that this points out. So after that, we've got November 26th. Trump goes to New York trial sentencing. That's just it just cracks me up that if he's elected president and if this particular thing happens, man, it's just going to be weird.
Well, right. Does he get impeached? Is the question.
Right. I mean, there's just so many unknowns. There's so many unknowns with that.
Okay. Say he wins. Say he won, and then he gets convicted in this. Then they have to impeach him. So that means
I know
it goes to the new vice president. Like, I think that's important.
Yeah, that's another good point.
That's important. Do I want JD Vance as my president?
Well, yeah. Yeah.
So
Then we
there you
go.
go.
Then we go to December 11th, and this is important for everybody to know. This is electors are certified, and then they don't vote till December 17th, which we know is an important point. We didn't used to think so until last
Right.
January 6th. Now we know there's a lot of things that can happen potentially between election day and the day they start. January 6th, they count the electoral vote. January 3rd, congressional year begins, and then the inauguration is on January 20th. Here's the early voting thing. So this, see, some states, have begun printing and sending out ballots. This is interesting. Look at this little graph here. So green is all voters are automatically sent mail-in ballots in these green ones. So that's interesting.
Oh.
Look how different all the states are. Yellow, voters can request mail-in ballots. And then blue, voters need an excuse to vote by mail.
Wow.
Now, that's really interesting. When I looked at this, like every state has the option to vote by mail, but in the blue states, you have to prove it or have an excuse. Tell me that that's not going to be an issue that people are going to argue about afterwards if it's close. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, well, I know this is already geared. I mean, I almost just want to go bury my head somewhere for like a couple months,
Yeah.
I mean, because you and I always talk about we're moderates. Like a
Yeah.
lot of people think I'm one way or another, which cracks me up that they think that because I'm really a moderate. But it's like seriously, like this is insane. I
Yeah.
don't even know what to say this time.
Oh, my God, I know. So
I don't even know what to say.
this goes across and goes over each one, just talks about, so, here's a picture of Trump and, when he was on trial. Let's see, electorates are certified. There's some really interesting pictures here. Yeah, so this is the Congress, I think, certifying.
Haven't you noticed? I have because I do watch shows sometimes, but I have not heard much from the House and the Senate. Like, what's happening with them? Like,
Well, hopefully they're busy
what are
running
they
the
doing?
country.
What are
Hopefully
they
they're running the
doing?
country.
Like, what are they doing? I want to know.
Well, it's interesting because wouldn't it be
No,
nice,
they tried
really?
to pass a bill last week, I think, right? Didn't they?
Well, they passed. You know what's interesting? This was actually 2 or 3 weeks ago. They passed like 6 or 7 bills that affecting China, like really hammering down on China, and it was like remarkable how they got all these bills passed. But it was all pretty much
Hush, hush.
pushing them down, pushing
Hush, hush.
back. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
as we all get these deliveries from Temu.
oh my God, Temu. My mom it's like I told mom never to order from Temu. I don't know, just personal thing. It's cheap stuff, but
Right?
it makes a lot of money. And I'm like, Mom, you're helping China. Oh, who knows? Who the heck
That's what I'm
knows?
We are so confused. I mean, let's be honest. We're so confused. We're so conflicted that doing your own research, like we talk about every single show, is imperative. If you don't do your own research and you're not aware of what's really happening behind the scenes, like I'm going to raise my hand. Am I guilty of consumerism? Yes. Yes, I am.
So is
Do I
everybody.
use
If you
Amazon?
bought a piece
Do
of
I
gum,
use Temu?
you're a
Do I
consumerism.
I mean, do I use these, vehicles that are everybody's like, we need to boycott these things, and it's like, hasn't happened yet. The
Hasn't happened yet, yeah.
convenience factor. They figured out that we will pay for the convenience factor. The convenience factor outweighs anything else.
Yeah, even quality.
If-
That's the amazing thing.
Yeah,
It's like,
if we can make it, if we can deliver this to their door, and they don't have to go anywhere, they don't have to get off their couch. They can order it by their phone and be at their front door tomorrow.
so that the
got
Temu issue, or the unlock that they figured out, is that there are lots of tariffs between China and the U.S. But if you can keep the price under, I think it's $1,000, that doesn't qualify. So what the Temu group figured out is that they can ship stuff directly from China right to the consumer. So it's like you order something online, you're actually going to get it directly somewhere from China, will be mailed to you. Now, I think that's not all the necessary products, but it's much, much cheaper for the merchants to do it that way than doing Amazon. So a lot of the stuff you can find on Temu, you can find on Amazon or eBay, but it costs almost twice as much for the merchant to use Amazon, because Amazon, you have to use their warehouses and their shipping manufacturers, places, not their manufacturer, but their shipping, and it costs a lot more. And so I saw this article about a merchant that, and a lot of people aren't even living in China, but they can still use the China manufacturing and the way they ship it. So, who knows? I don't know. Again, it's the same thing with TikTok. I don't know. I don't know what's happening behind, but we don't know. And frankly, I'll just be honest. My personal view, and I don't have a lot of data on this, I'm just like, yeah, I mean, I don't like the fact that China is involved any way in our social media so heavily, because we know that social media is so delicate and it's so woven into our society, and it hits our subconscious mind. We don't even know it, and we're influenced. And if China is a major factor in that, and the thing is that the government and the private sector are just combined. There's not a lot of separation there. So whether they say it, whether it's true or not, we don't necessarily know. But I would opt out for it. So I'm for getting rid of TikTok, getting rid of Temu. We'll find other ways. We can buy cheap shit somewhere else.
You said the S word.
Oh.
So yeah. So I have a lot to say about that, and I'm going to sound like a hypocrite, because do I use those two vehicles? I do sometimes.
Sure, I do too.
A cheap little vegetable peeler, and
I've got some crazy shoes from China. Cheap. They look cool. They're cheap, and I know they come from China. Sometimes it'll take 2 months to get those damn shoes, but they look good.
Okay. So that's what I mean. It's a big bag. It's a big bag.
I love that. Wow. You just sighed. You're like, oh, like, I don't even know what to say about this. And we're run out of.
Because we still want to purchase things from these places because it's cheaper. Yeah. But, is it costing us our souls? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. And
I mean, that's the problem, is like with anything, if it's convenient, cheaper, and can be delivered to your door, we're so caught in this space of convenience that we'll do it. Same with the weight loss thing. We'd rather take an injection in our stomach.
Yeah.
Every day.
But it's the magic pill, right? Like society's been wanting the magic pill to lose weight, and it comes in the form of a shot. But I think they're working on a pill. They're working on a Ozempic pill, and they'll make it.
Well, they were talking about how the costs of it here are higher than other countries. Other countries have negotiated prices for it, and it's way cheaper in another country. Now, how's that? I mean, we're our country we get taxed and priced and.
So I'm trying to think of this analogy, but I think it was.
And I don't see it getting better. I mean, I'm sorry. I wish I could be an optimist about this. I'm a moderate, but actually a cynic at this point. Like I don't see our way out unless somebody has a really good plan on getting us there, which I think they have ideas of, but I still haven't heard anybody actually tell me what that is.
I haven't either, and I don't know.
That's actually a problem.
I don't know. I can't even conceive of how we would get ourselves out of this, because it's so prevalent, and there's so much money to be made by these manufacturers and by the media and the press and the
That's right.
that I just don't think there's any incentive. One thing about certainly America, but really the whole world, is that there needs to be an economic incentive for most of this. It's sad, but it's true. Where there's economic incentives, that's what proliferates. And when there's so much money to be made in consumerism and making things easier and cheaper for us, it's our human nature. So I don't know what's
Well,
going to
I
happen
mean,
either.
even the most positive, hopeful, starry-eyed person that gets into politics, that gets
Starry-eyed.
into a seat, they get into, one of those seats, they do not know what they're
I'm
up
going to
against
save the
as soon as
world.
they get there. And
We can do it.
They really do. They really do want to. And
I know they do. They
that's
do.
the problem is that they really do want to. I want them to, but guess what? It's not going to happen.
Well, it's just I call it the meat grinder. Like really good people with really good intentions go into the meat grinder and they get chewed up by the system and by the way politics works, and they end up, well, I've got to do this and pass this bill and do these weird things because I got to get elected again to do good. And they think in their head that they're doing good when sometimes they're really evil things, but the system turns them. And
Right.
I think we could change that system. I do think we could change the political system if we got rid of all the money in the PACs and all that money in how you get elected. And I think we could change that. And I think that is something I think we could change. The consumerism thing, I don't know. I don't see how we can change that ultimately. Yeah.
Wow, we went around the world today.
And we still have time left. We've gone around the world and we still,
Time.
I don't know. It's like normally we're like just blah, blah, blah. And
We got to the points quick.
we got to the point today. Today we were succinct.
Yes.
But what do you guys think? If you're still hanging around or you're watching on the replay, let us know what you want to talk about.
Please
Do you like
comment.
talking about politics? I want to know if people are just dead or whatever, and we don't
I
get
think they're
too heavy.
fatigued. I think that they're fatigued. I do.
Yeah.
I think I'm fatigued about it. I'm fatigued. I don't even want to talk about it.
This is the thing about it that's so different. General politics, most of the stuff I think that we've talked about are kind of every election cycle. These are things that are talked about. Economy, China, different things, how we're going to deal with that kind of stuff. But there's so much stuff we haven't even touched on, which we don't really want to get into all the crazy stuff.
Yeah, we
But,
don't. Because we're not wanting to be a current news kind of show. However, I'm just going to say Diddy. But anyway, what I'm saying is it's crazy what the revelations people are waking up to. I mean, and that's really what it comes down to. It's not a conspiracy theory if it's true. Just saying.
Just saying.
It's just saying. People have said things for years about a lot of different industries that we have that's all coming to the surface right now. It's really weird. It's almost like we're getting ready to do a world reset or something.
Well,
because all of these things are like bubbling up and they're all coming to.
Well, the question is what? Oh yeah, I don't know. I could go on and on about that, but it's just like, yeah, what does a world reset, look like? Is it? I mean, I don't know.
Is
My
it
first
good
thought,
or is it bad?
well, my first thought is it's war, like world global war, because that's kind of the only thing we have in history to look back on. Like when we've had these major world wars, that resets everything, and
That's right.
we don't even know what it looks like to reset without that. That's scary. That's scary.
It is
But we
scary.
do feel it. Very good point. We all feel it coming. We all feel something
Whatever it
is bubbling up.
something.
And the scary part is, in history, war is the thing that really changed things. Is it possible for us to have major reset without war? Let's hope for that. Let's maybe send some good vibes to the universe on that. Let's figure it out. It doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be war.
Right. And from my stance, of course, we need to pray uh, you know, on what's happening. I mean, it's cyclical. If we look in history to, if we look in history, it's all cyclical, from weather patterns to wars to, you know, it's always been one nation trying to conquer another. I mean, it's been that way for since it began. I
Yeah.
mean, that's just really, it's almost like it's human nature, it's man's nature to try to be the alpha, and so unfortunately people get caught up in the midst of all of that, and innocent people and things like that, and that's where the compassion comes from, you know um and just be aware of what you're watching. It's so funny. I've been watching at, I don't know, at Amazon Prime or something. I've been watching just different shows, and be careful what you're watching, because it can change your perspective. It can influence your
And you don't even
perspective.
know it. It's
That's
subconscious.
correct. That's correct.
That's the
And
scary
it's
thing.
kind of crazy. It's kind of
But
crazy
just
because
be aware of, like, you're not probably going to notice that your perceptions have changed, but what you can notice is, what am I watching? And just kind of look at it, and I don't know if luckily, but I've come to the point where my body tells me if I'm just not feeling good, or I'm on edge or whatever, and I watch a particularly violent show or whatever, I just don't feel good. And I tuned into that a little bit. Whereas before, it's like, and I didn't worry about it, didn't notice it. And there are times when I'm just kind of feeling good or whatever, I can watch a violent show. It doesn't bother me, but my body kind of tells me.
right.
I've actually started going back and watching old sci-fi TV shows, like back in, like, not as back as like Star Trek early 60s stuff, but like Stargate and some of these things that were like in the early 2000s and the 90s. And it's just mindless, because it's kind of like,
Right.
that's why I like sci-fi in a way. It kind of just takes my mind. Like, I like sci-fi in two ways. One, I like the like really thinking about the future and what things could be like. Then sometimes I'm just like, I don't want to think, and especially some of these, like Star Trek, I always liked, and Stargate's the same way, because they have a very gentle tone to them. They always end on a happy note. Not always, but usually they end on a happy note. They're kind of laughing and joking. Some of these sci-fi or mystery stuff now are really dark, like intense and dark all the way. And
Right.
the old sci-fi shows are kind of fun. They have, shooting aliens and
Yep.
spaceships and stuff, but they're kind of joking and they're friendly at the end of the
All
episode.
I'm gonna say is tribbles.
Yeah, tribbles. And I miss that, because a lot of the new nitty gritty, sci-fi and different shows are sometimes really dark, and they're just scary.
Well,
But
I actually yesterday I wanted to get out of my house and I wanted to go see a movie. And there's a movie theater not far. I looked up on what was playing, and I was shocked at how many were horror movies.
yeah, there's a lot of horror out. And
The
I don't know, is that because of
the
October?
whole- I don't know, but
Because I
was
noticed that
just like,
too.
there's nothing I could go see right now.
Yeah.
Not one thing. Like, I don't see a movie that I would want to go see that would make me feel better when I left.
I haven't
it's
seen a lot of
insane.
good movies in a long time.
Uh-huh.
It's like almost after C-19, like Hollywood just gave up or got lazy or whatever. There hasn't been hardly anything. I was so excited to see Kevin Costner's new Western, and I was really disappointed. And I think it was,
Really?
I don't know. Yeah, I was disappointed. I like Kevin Costner. I love his Westerns. I loved Yellowstone. But and I heard him talk about it in an interview before I watched it, and it sounded great. The way he made it sound was like, oh, this is going to be great. And it just did not come out good. I don't know what's going on with Hollywood. They
Oh,
not good.
Holly. Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
We need a
know.
Ghostbusters 10 or something like that.
I
What the
don't
heck?
know, something more fun than that. I even thought about Beetlejuice, but I was like, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to revisit Beetlejuice. I don't know why.
Don't you? I do. I wonder why you don't want to. Because again, that was just fun.
It was, but this one is darker. I've already seen
it darker?
like clips of it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm curious to
Yeah,
know
and
because
I'm like, why do they have to bring this darkness into it, man? Like, why is
They really
everything dark
should
right now?
like adopt like if y'all out there know
We don't
of a
need
of a
darkness
film,
right now.
right? And like find a
Hello,
film
people.
or a show
We have this
that's new.
election coming up. We need
Yeah, that's
not
dark enough.
darkness.
But no, tell me a show or a movie that is a good feel-good movie, a new one. And I mean, because I really don't like to rewatch movies unless it's 20 years and I really don't know. I can't remember how it's going to end. And that's why these Stargates, which I've watched them before, I'm a big sci-fi fan, but I know all the characters, but I don't remember each episode. And damn, those guys worked hard. They shoot 20 episodes a season. They did like 5 seasons. Like, now that's some hardworking actors. Where's that work ethic these days?
Yeah. I'll go. Oh, well, it was Friends' 30th anniversary, I think yesterday.
Oh yeah, I saw something about that.
And so I like watching all those. I'll go back to Seinfeld or Friends.
Yeah.
Or, the sitcoms. I like
Right.
the sitcoms.
Yeah.
And then I'll watch the fluffy movies again, like Footloose and
Yeah,
St. Elmo's
yep.
Fire. all
I've
them.
started to do more and more
All
of that.
them.
Maybe I'll have to.
All them.
Maybe I'll have to go to Footloose. I don't know. It's been a while since Footloose. Boy, long time. I don't know. The
All
Rat
right,
Pack.
We're almost at the end of our hour here. So if you guys joined us, which I've been looking to see if you're there, and I don't see anybody saying hello, and you need to, because I've been watching.
Come say hi. Hang out with us.
hi.
Why not? What are you gonna do?
right.
Just work. That's no fun. Come on.
That's
Hang
right.
out.
That's right. All right, you guys. Well,
Aren't you guys?
I hope you have a lovely week and whatever you do, and I hope it's a great day.
And we'll see you next week. Bye.
All right, bye, y'all. Bye.